What is up guys, Zach here from the Chaos Galaxy, and today I am doing part 4, the final part of my old TCGs episode showing you Elementals, the trading card game, Season 3. And I've already shown you guys the water, rock, fire, sky, nature, robo and heaven elements. And if you haven't seen the videos where I show you those ones, there'll be a link to them in the description below. But we've definitely saved the best till last with this, because today I'll be showing you the alien deck and the almighty hell deck, which was by far the best, most unbalanced set of cards in the whole game. But before we get into that, I want to show you a really special card, just in case you don't watch till the end of the video, because I really want to show everyone this. And it is the rarest card in the game, the best card in the game, and it is called the Elemental. And here it is, the Elemental. As you can see, it combines aspects of every element on its artwork, and it's a special card, and it reads: to play this card you must kill one card from every element from your hand, deck or field, and when you play this card you win the game. Now this does sound really easy to play, however it wasn't, because actually when I made this game and played with my cousins, all my cousins had decks of just one element. So if you had a fire element deck, then you'd only have cards of that element, and then you'd have to like trade or get packs and collect all the cards from every other element to actually get the requirements to play this card. So it's pretty hard to play. I don't think anyone successfully played it. Also, it's really hard to get in packs, so I think only one of my cousins got it, but no one ever managed to successfully play it. So yeah, the Elemental, the best card in the game. But now I'm going to get to showing you the alien cards, starting with Alien Egg, which is a 2-star with 1100 block and 200 power. We've then got Gorlob, who's just a fat mess, who's a 5-star actually, with 2000 power and 1000 block, so he's actually pretty good. Next up we've got one of my favourites, Galagon. He just looks like a really typical scary alien, I think. And when he dies, the card that kills it loses 100 power every turn it stays alive. So it does actually take a while for it to do some damage, but you know, it will always help. You've then got Crowned Mega Arm, which is a weak creature whose arms normally fall off, but this one replaced one of his arms with a high power laser cannon, which gives him 2000 power. Excellent for a 3-star. We've then got Spoigazozo. He looks quite cool, I think. But when you play this card, you can play any alien card from your deck, so he's really good, and then it gains an extra 500 power and 1000 block. So although he's only got 1000 power and 1000 block, which isn't great for a 5-star, that ability is game changing. Now we've got our first shiny card of the video. I didn't actually colour in his shine, but it's Astro Dragon. A huge dragon with a huge appetite. It can eat whole planets within a day. So he's pretty massive. And he's got 3000 power, which is huge, and 2500 block. We've then got Scarakapon, who's actually featured in Little Dudes originally. 400 power and 1100 block. Next up, this is one of my favourite cards. My cousin Andrew had these, and this was like his signature move, Schlooper. When this card kills a card, you add that card's block and power onto this card's block and power. And yeah, I remember my cousin managed to boost this card up like to ridiculous stats so many times. Really annoyed everyone else playing the game. But we've then got Knife Fist, looking pretty evil. A Fearless Warrior that lost his hands and feet in battle, and they were replaced with sharp knives. 800 power and 600 block. We then have the Archetype, who is a very well-known card from my TCGs, and it's the Boggy Booger archetype. And just basic Boggy Booger is a cloud-like thing that floats above the nearest planet to it. However, they hate normal clouds because they're too big, so that's why they never go near Earth. So yeah, now you know. We've then got Pointy Boggy Booger, who also features in a lot of my TCGs, and to play this card you must have a card with Boggy Booger in its name on your field. All other Boggy Boogers get an extra 200 power and block when you play this card. And he's got 1100 power and 900 block to start off with. We then have Ultimate Boggy Booger. And to play this card, there must be a Boggy Booger card on your field. And you add the powers of every Boggy Booger on your field to this card's power and block when you play it. So he gets pretty big, and although he only starts out with 100, and he also gets the power added on from Pointy Boggy Booger's effect. We've then got a card here called Boggy Beast. It looks like a sort of haunted Boggy Booger. And you toss a coin, and if it's heads, you kill all non-Boggy Booger cards on the field, and if it's tails, you kill all Boggy Booger cards on the field, but not this card. So, he's got 500 power, 500 block, and he's only 2 stars. But then obviously he gets the boost from some of the other Boggy Booger cards. We then have Boggy Boost, which is a special card for the archetype, and you play any Boggy Booger card from your deck, which is really powerful anyway, and then it gets an extra 300 power and block, and so do all other Boggy Booger cards. So using all these combos, sort of Ultimate Boggy Booger can get really massive, which is pretty cool. Next up, I'm going to show you some more cards on here that I didn't cut out. We have Self-Destructing Alien, and when this card dies, you kill every card on the field and no one gets any points. And then your turn ends, which doesn't actually make much sense because most of the time I'm sure that it would die on your opponent's turn, so don't know what I did there. We've then got Hyperspace Hero, who's a small astronaut-like creature that flies around trying to defeat aliens. And he's got 1500 power and 500 block, and 3 stars. We've then got Valgorax, who looks really creepy. And once per turn you can pick one of your opponent's cards, and its block becomes 0 for the rest of the turns. So that's really good, you can just get rid of any big monsters that you're struggling to get past. We've then got a really cool card called Rocketeer Hero. He looks pretty boss, I think. He's a huge living rocket that is fast, strong, and not to be messed with. That's really cringy. He's got 8 stars with 3000 power, massive again, and 2600 block. Then this card was really interesting. Multiplying Alien Army. It's a shiny card, and it gets an extra 1000 power and block for every alien card on the field. But to play it, you must have 2 or more already on your field. Which means if you already have those 2 on the field, then it would automatically be 3000, 3000, because obviously this card's an alien as well, so that would give it an extra 1000 automatically. I'll show you these special cards in a minute, but we've only got one more creature to show for the alien archetype, and it is of course the God card, and that card is Death Planet. And to play this card you must kill 1 alien card like all the other God cards, and any card that attacks this card dies at the end of the turn. So even though he's got 4000 block, only 500 power, which isn't great, but you know, anything that does even try and kill it will die eventually anyway, so Death Planet is a very, very solid God card. Okay, now I'm going to show you some special cards for the alien planet. First up we've got UFO Protection Beam. All aliens get 100 block, and then you pick 1 alien card and it can only be killed by special cards, so that's really good. Then got Earth Invasion, which reads, for the amount of alien cards on the field, your opponent picks 1 card in their deck and kills it. You don't get any points. Which can kind of be good for your opponent, I guess, if some of their cards' abilities revolve around being dead. But then got Ray Gun, which just straight up gives an alien card 1000 power. We've then got Dead Pointy, which reads, whenever an alien card dies, you get 1 point. Simple as that. Oh yeah, we've then got the 2 on this piece of paper. We've got Space Weaponry, where you pick an alien card and it gets one of these weapons. So if you choose the Ray Gun, then the alien gets 1000 power. If you choose the Scythe, kill every card on the field except the alien that has the Scythe. Shield, the alien gets 1000 block. And the Mace, when the alien card dies, your opponent loses 1 point. So that's pretty cool. And then we have the Especially Special, which kills every special card on your opponent's field. So that's not really related to aliens, but it's a pretty good card. Okay, so that's it for the aliens. Now I'm going to show you the most powerful element out of all of them, which is the Hell deck. And this was the deck that I used when I played this game against my cousins, because I was really mean and just gave myself all the best cards. So first up we have Hell's Guard, which is a huge beast that guards the gates to hell, which nothing has ever got past. And I'm not surprised because it's got can't even speak. It's got 4000 block, only 100 power, but that 4000 block is huge. And then we also have a card that goes with it, which is Hell's Guard Dog. And if you have Hell's Guard, you can swap its power and block around. And then this card's got 1000 power and 600 block. The next card we have is Little Devil. He doesn't have an ability, but he's got 900 power and 600 block. Next up we have the Reaper. Once per turn, 1 card on the field becomes a Hell card, and when this card dies you get 1 point for every Hell card on the field. So you can turn all your opponent's cards into Hell cards, which is good for 2 reasons. 1, it helps his ability, and 2, if your opponent has abilities that revolve around rock cards or something, if those rock cards become Hell cards, the abilities won't work. We then have Gugab Nom Nom, who has 2300 power, which is massive for a 4-star, and only 300 block. We then have this one, Hell Chains. I remember this one being really annoying. and you pick one of your opponent's cards and its power and block becomes 0 and they lose 1 point for every turn it stays alive. You can only use this ability once though, I remember that would be too good. But yeah, 200 power and 2000 block, which are really good stats too. We've then got the first archetype of the Hell deck. I had like 3 archetypes in this deck, it was a pretty big deck, but the first of these archetypes is the Shadow Fiends. We start off with the basic one, which is super tiny Shadow Fiend, who's the smallest Shadow Fiend, and he's invisible to the human eye. And he's only a 1-star, but some of the other Shadow Fiends make up for that. We then have Super Spicy Shadow Fiend, and if it battles Super Spicy Curryman, you get 6 points. That doesn't really have any relevance to Hell cards whatsoever, but yeah, don't use Super Spicy Curryman against this card. We've then got Super Chubby Shadow Fiend, who's pretty fat, and he's a 4-star with 1000 power and 1600 block. The next Shadow Fiend is Super Fast Shadow Fiend, and all Shadow Fiends get an extra 1000 block, except this card, and he starts off with 1200 and 800. Coming up next, we have Super Strong Shadow Fiend, who's a 7-star, pretty massive with 2600 power, only 1300 block, but all of the Shadow Fiends gain an extra 2000 power, which can even make Super Tiny Shadow Fiend a pretty formidable force. And then the last one we have is Super Brainy Shadow Fiend, who's a 4-star with 1200 power, 800 block, and you double the special powers of all Shadow Fiends, which means Super Strong Shadow Fiend boosts cards by 4000 power instead of 400, which makes all of the cards ridiculously strong regardless of the stats they start at. So that's pretty stupid. But that's it for that archetype, thank God, otherwise it would have been way too good. But we have the Trickster as the next card, and when you play this card, you play it face down, and if it's attacked and your opponent's card loses, you kill every card in their hand. If you're struggling to grasp how that works, you play it face down, your opponent attacks it, and because say Death Planet only has 500 power, which isn't strong enough to get past the Trickster's 2000 block, their whole hand is killed. We then have our next archetype. Again, this is the Empty archetype, and it's just based off a load of zombie animals. So first up we have Empty Penguin, who's a 4-star with 1600 power and 900 block. Then we have Empty Lion, and all empty cards can do straight attacks, which can just win you games at times. We've then got Empty Toucan, who's a 3-star with 1000 power, 1100 block. Then Empty Walrus, and once per turn, one card becomes a Hell card. So you just choose one of your opponent's cards and it becomes a Hell card. When this card dies, you get 1 point for every Hell card on the field, which is a similar ability to one of the other Hell cards, I can't remember which one though. We've then got the boss, which is Empty Dragon, who's a shiny card. He's got 9 stars and 3600 power and 2700 block. And when you play this card, you can play the Devil from your deck. I'm not going to show you the Devil yet because he's the God card, but we'll get around to it, don't worry. That's it for that archetype. We've then got Doom Cannon, who's a 6-star with 2600 power and 1000 block. And no ability. These cards are so overpowered. I can't believe how mean I was to my cousins by giving me these cards. Or even making me these cards. We've then got Sculptra, who is another really good card. 6 stars, 700, 700. But only once when your opponent has a 4-star on the field, you kill it, and then this card gains that card's power and block. Oh, next up we have a really weird one. This is the Dot. I think I put more effort into its background than I did the actual image. But when you play this card, you kill every Hell card on the field and get 1 point for each one killed. So pretty scary. Especially because a lot of the cards in this deck actually make your opponent's cards Hell cards. So yeah, some nice combos can work out there. We've then got another archetype for me to show you, which is the Hell's Army, which is the Hell's Assault Force archetype. We have Hell's Swordman first of all, who's a soldier that is part of Hell's undefeatable army. Then got Hell's Cannoneer, who's the strongest member and the stupidest of the army, who's got 2200 power and only 300 block. We've then got Hell's Defender, who's got 2000 block and 500 power. And then we have Hell's Commander, who commands them all. And when you draw this card, you can add a Hell's Assault Force from your deck to your hand, and then his stats are only 1000, 1000. So all these cards are pretty weak on their own, but they actually come together to create the strongest card in the entire game in terms of power and block. And that card is Hell's Assault Force. who looks really cool, and he is absolutely massive. He's a shiny card, he's not even a god card, but he has 6,000 power and 6,000 block, which is huge. He is very hard to play though, because you can only play him if you have one of all of these cards on your field. But if you can get him out, I think it's pretty much game over for your opponent, because once you play him, special cards can't even kill him, so he can only be killed by attacks. This card gets 2 points for winning a battle, which just finishes off games quicker pretty much. And then if your opponent manages to kill him somehow, you can just play out all these dead cards, and then they have to kill these one by one again. So Hell's Assault Force is an absolute beast. And that's not even the end. I still have 2 more cards to show you, both of which are 10 stars, and one of which is, of course, the God card for the Hell deck. So, next up, we have the card Death. I know. Isn't that artwork fantastic? But anyway, Death is a 10 star with 0 power and 0 block. When you play this card, you kill every card on the field, and then this card's power and block becomes equal to the combined power and block of all the cards killed. And then this card also gains 2 points for winning a battle. So this is probably one of the few cards that can actually get stronger than Hell's Assault Force, although I was using both of them, so no one ever really used it against me. But yeah, as you can tell by the name, it's probably going to be a pretty powerful card, and it is. But that brings us to the last creature I'm going to show you from this TCG, which is of course the God card for the Hell deck. And I mentioned him earlier in this video, and he is the Devil. Very evil, especially with the 10 stars of 4,500 power and 4,000 block, which doesn't even seem like that much at all when you compare it to what Death can get up to, and Hell's Assault Force. But anyway, to play this card you must kill 1 Hell card, obviously, otherwise this deck might just be a little bit overpowered. But when this card dies, if it ever does, you get 3 points if you have 1 or more Hell cards in your hand. So, I don't really need to say much more about him. Almost every card in this deck is amazing. I've then just got 2 special cards to show you that I haven't shown you yet. The first one is Black Hole, which is a shiny, and it just says kill every card on the field. Pretty straightforward, and it's pretty much stolen off Dark Hole and Yu-Gi-Oh! But we then have Final Return, which says put 1 card from your dead pile back into your hand, and this card's pretty useful as well. The Hell deck didn't actually have any element specific special cards to go with it, thank God, but it doesn't really need them, to be honest. I won pretty much every game I played. So guys, I want to thank you for watching this series. It means a lot. All the positive reactions I've had for this TCG have been amazing. I've even had some people say they actually prefer it to the Chaos Galaxy, which is a big compliment to my 14-year-old self. But no, I think I will carry on with the Chaos Galaxy. Also, speaking of other TCGs, Little Dudes Legends is finished. So if you're watching this far into the video, then stay tuned for a few weeks' time when hopefully I should have a delivery from thegamecrafter.com, which is very, very exciting. Also, I'm going to have some battle videos coming up soon. I probably won't do another old TCGs for a while now because this one took 4 episodes up. But yeah, thanks for watching. I really hope you've liked this TCG. Let me know which deck you'd rather have, the Hell or the Alien deck. The Alien deck is really cool, and in most other episodes I probably would have chosen it, but the Hell deck has some ridiculously overpowered cards in it, so I think I'm going to have to choose that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, stay tuned for Little Dudes Legends, and I'll see you next time. Bye.